Hello, my planner friends. Welcome back to my channel. It is Planner Lex, your favorite planner and your favorite Lex. Ooh, that's a new one. But today I'm back with another video, and this one's going to be a little different because it's all about finances. I absolutely love organizing, balancing, and creating systems for my finances. I know, I'm only 22. I don't have very many bills. I don't have very many responsibilities, but I do have a really fun time figuring out how to manage the money that I do have, and I feel like it's setting me up for a really great future when I do start to add on those responsibilities and those bills and things like that. But just because I don't have that stuff doesn't mean this video can't be followed, because I feel like I've come up with a really fun as money management can be system that can help anyone. You just have to apply your numbers to your own, and just let's take a look and see how I've been doing my numbers. Just use it as a template for your own self. Don't take everything to a T, but just get some ideas and some suggestions. So as I mentioned a few times before, I finally decided to set up a separate planner for all things finances, and it's really more of a binder than an actual planner because I'm not in here on a daily basis or even a weekly basis. I'm actually mostly in here every paycheck and then at the start of the month kind of thing. That's why there are these dividers here. So it works really great in that way, where I don't feel pressured to use it all the time. I know exactly when I need to be in here. I know exactly what information I need to get out of here, and I'm not spending a lot of time writing in here. But I get to enjoy the beauty of a monogram Louis Vuitton agenda that is so coveted in the planner community. So let's take a look at what I have here. It's super functional. I haven't even spent much time decorating in here, which is kind of good because I really like the clean look that I have going on in here. In my first income tab, I have a Sessa V 2020 overview with 2 lines each. And what I'm doing here is highlighting the pay period of each month, and then each line is indicating how much I was paid in that pay period. I get paid twice a month, so that's perfect. 2 lines, and I'll be able to see how much I was paid and if it changed from month to month. Then underneath it, I have the income sheet. By the way, most of these inserts came from Sessa V's budget planner, like stack or template, not template. What is it called? Like combo pack. Like it comes with a bunch of different inserts. Forgot the word for that. So here I put, this is still new to me, so there's still a few things I need to fill out, but for the most part, I'm able to function really well, and when I get the time, I will fill out everything else. But so far, I have mapped out that in 2020, I will get paid on these days every month. It says monthly here. Then I will figure out some sort of average. I don't know how many months I'll do, but maybe like 3 months, let's say, and figure out what is my typical paycheck amount. Then it has your room for your once a years, and I know I get a pretty decent amount of money for birthday and Christmas. If there are others that come up that I can think of, I'll add those there. And then there's an other category. I think maybe I could add something like if I were, that was probably not going to happen in 2020, but if I were to ever get paid for YouTube or get a decent amount from planner therapy stuff out of the blue, or sell something really expensive, maybe I would put that in this section, but for now it's blank. In the back we get notes. I love that the back of her inserts have a lot of area for notes. Then I have the pay dates inserts from Peanuts Planner Co. And please keep in mind, I finally became comfortable enough to show my actual numbers. So yes, these are my actual numbers. Don't come for me. I will delete any sort of mean comments at all. But again, remember, I'm only 22. This is my first full-time job. It's not the best paying job in the world, but I don't have many responsibilities anyway. So here are my numbers, and I'm writing how much I got paid, and then I'm showing a distribution for how much money is going into each sort of category. So checkings, how much stayed in my checking account, how much went towards my savings account, how much was deposited in cash, and how much went to my sinking funds. Cash implies that it's spending money. Sinking fund is kind of the cash version of my savings account. So then I have my expenses tab. These dividers are also from Sessa. Then I've listed just the few bills that I do have. I have my student loan, which is my biggest one, phone, iTunes, which is kind of a joke, but it still comes out, so it's good to note, the Planner Spot sub box that I have, and my Canva account. Soon, I'm sure I'll have more. Amazon is a once a year. This number is not actually correct, but it is one of my once a year bills, and then room for other if other comes up. Then I have my savings. These are some of the major things that I'm saving up for in this coming year. And I have a sticky note just to kind of remind me of some of the possible sinking funds I could work with or save towards. Then I have my actual savings goals here for those major savings items. My biggest one is a car. I'm saving up for my dream car, which is either a Mini Cooper or a Fiat that I want to pay in cash. So yes, I'm buying used, and my goal is to save at least $4,000 from outright, and the rest of the money hopefully will come elsewhere. I don't want to say what elsewhere is, but yes, I have a plan. I know $4,000 isn't enough. Then I have vacation. I haven't added much to that, but it is in the back of my head. Then my emergency fund is really important for me too, because that's just what Dave Ramsey said, and if whatever Dave Ramsey said goes. But really though, it is good to have room for those out of the blue payments that you don't want to take a huge lump sum out of your bank account. It's good to know you have a little wiggle room and a safe spot for that money or that sort of purchase. Then I have an extra sheet here, and then we get into my sinking funds, and I'm using just a plain old envelope, and I just labeled them with my label maker. So I have just a few categories here. My emergency, which yes, I keep in cash because ooh, the lighting is so weird. Okay, there we go. Yes, I keep my emergency in cash because sometimes emergencies require cash. So I don't have to worry about getting the money off my card. I don't have to worry about finding my card if it gets lost or whatever the emergency may be. I want to know I can get this money quick and easy. Then there's holidays and gifts, for example. Valentine's Day is coming up. So whatever money I have to put in here, I will put in here and save up. I probably should have saved up starting in January, but it is what it is. The next one is appointments and events. Maybe if there was some sort of concert I was going to or a night out I knew was coming up, I would put that in here. Wish list items. So my plan was, and we shall see if I can actually do it with the amount I got paid this time around, but my idea was to add whatever leftover cash I have after a pay period to this wish list category to reinforce the importance of sticking to my budget and saving for the things I really want. So that was my idea there. And then I have a projects tab, which, for example, one of my 2020 projects, or really a continuing project, is to a room makeover. I'm trying to get my room to be as amazing as it could be and should be. So maybe some money can go towards that, or I know this is down the line, but maybe a Halloween costume or a party or anything like that. So I have that because these are all things are happening in advance, so you can start saving up ASAP. Do not wait until it comes to take that money out of your account. You can think about it ahead of time, and it will almost feel like you didn't take any money out at all because it's so gradual, if that makes sense. Then I have my budget tab, and oh boy, it's already been 9 minutes. I might have to do a part 2 where I'm actually planning my finances. So this is my budget tab, and this is just a general overview for my budget. Here it looks like I've already kind of figured out some sort of average or standard for my pay, what it usually should be or could be. and then I've added it up. So that means that's how much money, just about how much money I should be making in a given month. And that you can see here is 100%, right? So then the second section is expenses, and these are all my expenses. Before this line I've drawn here are all my bills, and these are all my necessary spending. So I have that, and then I also have the other kind of like, what's the word? Spending that kind of varies. There we go. Variable expenses. My essentials, variable. Food, variable. Travel and free spending are all variable. But those all fall under that major category of expenses. Then I have money needs to go towards my sinking funds. That is the whole basis of saving up for things that I know are happening in advance. Once again. So I have just the 4 top ones: holiday gifts, cars, appointments, events, miscellaneous products. Yes, a lot of these can be broken down into more specific things, but for the sake of this overview budget, I figured I would just use the 4 lines. And again, I've come up with some kind of ideal or goal amounts to add to that money every single month. Then my savings categories: emergency and general savings. Again, ideal amount of money. So all of this adds up to that 1,300. And then in case these numbers don't match up, like for example, my last pay was not $650, it was less than that. So what I can do is look at this overview budget and figure out by percents how much money should go towards each category. So for example, my non-variable expenses is about 38% of my standard amount of money, right? Then my variable expenses is going to be about 60% of that paycheck, or actually of the monthly income, really. Then my my sinking funds, is actually 25% of that money, and then my savings is going to be about 15%. That's the goal for each month. And literally, because I get paid twice, each of these can be cut in half, and that's how much it would be for each paycheck. But I will say, I typically, when I get my paycheck, I try to kind of figure out how much I can, as much of this as possible, so that my second paycheck can be more of a free spending. That's just kind of how I've been going about it. I like to take care of all my bills in the first paycheck, and then in the second paycheck can be more lenient. Then is my overview budget, little pie graph. And my friend, I don't know her real name, but Michu.plants on Instagram gave me the idea to not color these in like I had planned to, but to instead use some stickers and make a kind of neat overview. But I've already done the math here. So again, my budget percentages are 60% go towards expenses, 25% go towards sinking funds, 15% goes towards savings, or another breakdown is 38% goes towards fixed expenses, or 62% goes towards variable expenses. And these are all just kind of guidelines when I go to budget. And then here's another way of a breakdown of my variable expenses, which is really where you can tackle your spending and really improve your financial habits. So another breakdown is, here's how much money will go towards variable expenses, and then broken down into percentages. 38% of that variable amount, that variable budget, will go towards spending, 44% should go towards sinking funds, and 18% should go towards savings, like general savings and my emergency fund. I've yet to fill out these budget inserts, but I'm sure they will be helpful again for guidelines, figuring out, I'm sorry about the lighting, what is a reasonable amount of money to spend on my regular, non-negotiable expenses and payments, but for living. And there's some more room in the back. how much is a reasonable amount to budget for things that are related to discretionary or non-essential expenses, i.e. my personal budget. So I kind of think I'm going to write here just things I repeatedly buy. Like, let's say, what do I repeatedly buy? I don't know, nail tips. That's the first thing that came into my head. I repeatedly buy nail tips, so I can kind of figure out what is a reasonable amount to budget for beauty things, or I don't know, tech, things like that. Planning, planning is a huge one. How much money month to month probably is it says monthly. How much money I would spend or should spend month to month on a certain category, or maybe even as specific as a certain item. How much is reasonable for that? So these are all for guidelines, and that's why I love this finance binder for referencing before I make any sort of budget. So it continues, and that budget planning, I cannot think of the word, but pack of inserts came with 2 extras. So maybe you could come up with some categories of your own. The ones that came into my head, but we'll see if I actually go through it, that are like travel maybe, or I can have one just for planning probably, or maybe food, because I do eat out a decent amount, or like dates or something like that. Something where a lot of my spending seems to go to, where I feel like I need to tackle and come up with a regular budget for that. You could also, or I could also use this to keep track of an area that I tend to do a lot of spending in. I see it has like a grand total and a year period, so I could do in 2020, how much money did I spend on planning alone, and kind of keep an eye on that. That actually sounds a little bit better to me, so maybe I'll go ahead and do that. Then I have my list section, which is really just wish lists. And I actually have a hard time filling this insert out because my wish list items, I swear, are either extremely long term, like I don't know when, if even this year, I will get this item, or it's something I want now and will buy now. Actually, while we're on that topic of buying wish list items, I came up with a cool way of keeping track of those things you kind of want to impulsively buy, but maybe you shouldn't. So in my weekly main planner, I have this list of items that I was tempted to buy, and then I use a 5-category insert from Peanuts Planner Co. to mark how much it costs. Oh, I'm so sorry about the lighting again. So I either check off if it was less than or equal to $5, $10, $20, $50, or $100, so that when I do have room in my budget, my spending money, my free spending money, I know what wish list items I can buy. Whereas these, I think, are going to be like super long term, probably things that are in the 100 or maybe even the 50 or more range should go on these wish list inserts. The lighting. And then I added this one in, but it really should go in my main planner to kind of keep track of the non-essential spending that I'm doing. I've seen a lot of people do this lately and have great success, so I figured I would do it as well. Honestly though, I'm pretty good at not spending on ridiculous amount of money for ridiculous things, so I'm not sure how much I'm going to really need this, but I think it is nice to keep track of, like, maybe I tend to spend money on the weekends, or maybe I'm spending a lot of money in the beginning of the month because I've recently gotten paid, or something like that, just to kind of see some trends. So I'll just kind of like highlight the box and maybe write how much I spent on the non-essential item or items, and maybe I could even double color code that and like maybe categorize the types of non-essential spending I tend to do, i.e. planning or beauty related things, clothes, things like that. Yeah, so when I go to, in the second video, because I'm almost at 20 minutes already, when I go to review January's expenses, I will add those in. But ideally, I think I would do it as the weeks go on. It is so dang bright. I'm so sorry. So then, I think I've showed you guys this, but in each month I have an overview of the budget for the month. So now it's not just a standard, it's actually what numbers I'm really working with for the month. And oh my god, it's so bright. So I'm putting in, you know what, let me just show you what January's ended up looking like. I still need to finish processing it though, and I'm going to do that in the next video. Oh wait, this is my expenses. So for the month, in the income, I put both my paychecks amounts, then any sort of extra income I had. So because it was January, I was still working off some of my Christmas money. Then in the expenses section, I added the bills, you know, how much I budgeted for, how much they actually were. And then again, I put my kind of variable expenses, essentials, food, travel, and free spend, how much money I budgeted for that. And now that it's the end of the month, I will also be able to add how much I actually spent in those categories to compare. Did I go over budget? Did I go way under budget? Was I right on budget? And that will help me plan the next couple of months. Then my sinking funds this month were Nick's birthday. That would probably fall under like the holidays, events kind of sinking fund that I have. Car. And then appointments and events. So again, I'm going to add in how much I actually spent as a comparison. This is how much money I added to each of my savings categories, emergency and general savings. So yeah, that's how that worked, and that's exactly what I'm going to do for February. And then on the back, I literally just used it, instead of using a scrap piece of paper to figure out finances, I used the back of the insert. So what I did was I figured out how much I needed to transfer to savings. I figured out how much I needed to withdraw. I left a note for myself. Hey, next time keep more free spending money on your card for online purchases, because I realized I actually do more of my free spending online because I want things fast, i.e. Amazon. Then I also left room here to review how much was my balance for each of my categories, how much cash I had left over overall, and how much I had left in each of my accounts. So it's great to see kind of a start finish. Am I building my net worth? I think they say, am I building net worth each month, or am I spending, or am I living within my means, or am I living below my means so that my net worth can increase? I believe that's how that works. Correct me if I'm wrong. So yeah, I'm all set up to do the same thing for February, but it should be a little bit interesting because your girl did not get paid how much she expected to get paid. I'm not sure if that was an error, which brings me to say and remind myself that I need to add a work section into my main planner and keep track of my hours and keep track of any errors in time punches, because that could easily be a reason why I got paid less than I expected. And that's also a reason I should start even budgeting how much money I expect to get so that I know what to expect when it comes. If that makes sense. It should make sense. Then in the back here, temporarily, I have kept the cash that I just took out from this paycheck. I have some money in my tithing envelope already. And then just some fun gold stickers with these little money signs. I just love how like foiled they are. And then I have, if you guys remember my planning my finances video from 2019, these are all the averages of how much money I spent in each category in 2019. Now mind you, these numbers are way higher than what I need now because I was in college for most of this and I needed to buy groceries for myself, and I was also not making as much, so it's kind of like weird. It's like the opposite of what I have now. I also traveled a lot because I was taking the subway. Now I rely on my mother and get to travel for free for the most part, unless I take a random Uber. Anyway, that's TMI, but I like to at least reference this and kind of see, you know, what's a realistic amount to budget for, or I guess these could almost be seen as maximum amounts I could be spending in a given month. It's just nice to have in here. And that's how simple it is. I also keep my checks back here, but for obvious reasons, I took that out for the purpose of this video. And yeah, so I basically work out of here every pay period or paycheck, and I use this to help me budget. I also love this app called Every Dollar. It is Dave Ramsey's actual app for cash budgeting. Well, I guess you could budget without cash for it, but I really like that it does all the calculations for me. It saves time, and it saves me having to bring this bad boy around, which would be awesome, but not realistic, because it allows me to input how much I'm spending in each category. It will subtract and do the math for me. It will allow me to figure out if I'm doing an every dollar budget, which means I assign every dollar I own to a category, which does not leave room for unnecessary spending, basically is how that works. So I love that for that reason. As soon as I spend money, I literally go right to my phone, add it in, and then I'll know how much money I've left in a given category, how much money I've spent during this time period of a month, or various things like that. If I go over budget, I know exactly how much money I need to take away from another category. It is awesome. I used to try to keep track of my budget with budget tracker inserts, and it just wasn't ever perfectly working. It would work only when I felt like using it, and that is just the truth. So then I also have my little cash envelopes here. I almost cut these and never ended up doing that. If you follow me on Instagram, you know I've been hinting that I was going to cut these down so that they could fit in the pocket of a planner, but I decided not to. And, oops, backwards. So my categories are dining, essentials, and non-essentials. And I've really, really been liking this because I know exactly how much I've been spending. And until I get the chance to log the receipts, so as you can see, there are some receipts here. This lighting, you guys, I literally can't. So basically these receipts here means I haven't added this to my spending log, and I know exactly how much money came out of a given category. So this receipt is in this dining category, which means it's for food, and I know exactly where to put it on my expense insert. Whereas if it was a credit card purchase, I'd have to go back and look at that, but I have the receipt here. Then this is a mini cash envelope that I had in my A6 insert. What is up with this lighting, you guys? I'm so sorry I said this like 10 times, but like, what? Like, am I in heaven or something? How do I fix that though, really? Okay. This was in my A6 planner when I was using that, and this is just like basically where I transfer money from the cash envelopes in here. Instead of taking them out of here, I just add the money to this mini cash envelope. And this was for my boyfriend's birthday. I did end up spending this, but I didn't use a $20 bill, so this really needs to go elsewhere. But it's here now, and it can maybe be added to my wishlist category or used in the next pay period towards something. Since I did get paid less, I might need that extra cash. Woo! And then finally, gosh, I'm talking so fast because I wanted to do my review in this video too, but clearly that's not happening. So this is the finance section in my main planner. If you didn't see my last video, I tried to smush my A6 and my personal rings into one planner. So I no longer have an on-the-go planner. I just have this one main planner. I bring it if I want to. I don't if I don't. Otherwise, I have my Stalogy on me for any sort of notes I may need. I have the Peanuts Planner Co. routine insert. Still need to finish adding in the actual routine here, but I'm still trying to figure out and finalize what my routine actually is. But I do have the bills tracker here and the debt tracker. I have my finance routine, which needs to be updated, but it's here for now. It's still usable. And budget categories. This little tab here is to kind of move around my planner and maybe put in the front to remind me to log a purchase. Then I have my current expense tracker for January. The budget, the overview budget was here. Just imagine that here. Look at me, imaginary flipping the page. And then the impulse tracker I told you about, then the online orders tracker, just a random note for figuring out math and stuff like that. I do still have to do that occasionally. Then I tried something out that didn't really work. I tried to write down how much, certain items I might spend in a certain category, just to kind of keep track of that. It's almost like a to buy list, but it's like more than short term, but less than long term, if that makes any sense. But I don't think I'm going to do that again. And then last but not least, I kept some receipts in here as well. I think these are ones I've already logged, but I just kept them just in case I need to return or something. And that's it. So that's what I'm doing. And the part 2 of this will be me actually reviewing my January spending and budgeting for the first half of February. So go ahead and watch that next. Thank you for watching. Bye.